Guys, what's a good sign that a woman is just using you? Pretty much the same as when any person is just using you. The relationship feels unbalanced and unequal, with you giving more than you are receiving. In a good relationship, friendship, whatever, both people are giving what they want to give without coercion and both feel adequately rewarded for it. Sometimes one person needs more, sometimes the other, but it evens out over time. When you feel like you're being coerced into giving more than you really want, whether that's with force or emotional manipulation or whatever, you're being used and you'll eventually resent it. This kinda reminds me of a quote I read somewhere: a good relationship is 60/40 with each person trying to be the one giving 60%. Anytime you try opening up, you're acting off character, selfish, but, etc. It's usually the typical pathetic manipulation people pull to make you feel bad for either standing up for yourself or just trying to be you. She doesn't act that interested when you are interested, flirting, contacting her, but when you stop, suddenly she is very interested and contacts you a lot until you act interested again. The cycle then repeats. Just WHY. I had a girl tell me she only talks to a guy because he buys her food when she asks. This guy was my friend and was very interested in her. I hope you told your friend, or at least convinced her to say something. I was dating a girl who said she was too busy to go on a date on Saturday and that she was only free on Tuesdays. She also said that she wanted to date other guys while dating me. She later admitted that she was cycling boyfriends through the week for free food. I dropped her like a bag of moldy tangerines. Infinite food glitch. She's in desperate need of a lung transplant and is always complimenting you about what nice lungs you have and making offhanded comments about how you don't use your lungs much and could probably do okay without them. Sounds like you're wasting your breath with her. A girl once called me her happy pill, a nickname her therapist created cause I genuinely made her life so much better, but she cheated on me anyway. My friend told me that you only take a pill when you need it, and I've lived by that and use that as a filter for all my relationships. Dated 2 women whose therapists said I was a good person to have in their lives and that I was a positive stabilizing presence. One cheated on me, other one ditched me. Good times, good times. Oh, I can answer this one. When asking you for something, time, money, physical effort, if you say yes, she will almost always and immediately look for something else to ask you for that is related. Egg. Can you stop and pick up those hair things for me? I say yes, okay. Can you also stop by the shop next door and get me that thing? I like this kind of things isn't a big deal on occasion, but when it's a repeating pattern, it's a red flag. She will point out how much she fricks you and how it's for you. Will treat most of your interests with disdain or indifference. Doesn't ever really care what you have to say. When you attempt to point out any inequality in the relationship, she will get extremely defensive and attack you for being selfish, and tell you need to be more supportive, giving a real man. The last one I think is a red flag that is extremely obvious, yet many people don't realize it. The moment anyone says anything along the lines of a real man would, or be a man or anything similar, you can be dang sure this person is emasculating you in order to manipulate you. Period. As soon as you hear anything like that, run. She's always making posts telling her friends where you took her for dinner, birthday, holidays, vacation and what gifts you've given her, but never once does she say anything about any unique qualities she finds attractive in you. Heck, I had one making posts with all the stuff I had gotten her and didn't bother to mention where they came from. I didn't even exist outside of being a vending machine. I'm not a man, but I've known too many not so great women and have had guy friends used by women. So I think I can chime in here a little. She never wants to listen to your complaints, but that's all she does herself. She asks about your bank account and your job often and says she's just wondering. She gets unreasonably mad when you forget a holiday. She makes deals with you using her body. If you buy me this, I'll suck your dong in the car. She lies constantly about her own financial situation or personal relationships. She always wants to hang out with a specific friend of yours. She doesn't thank you for things, but rather expects them. She manipulates you by threatening to withhold sex until she gets her way. She only says I love you when you give her something or do something for her. She never pays for anything herself. She guilt trips the life out of you. She is unreasonably, explosively defensive when you voice your concerns regarding the relationship. OP. If your girls is doing any of these, find a new girl. If you and your partner do this for mutual, well-intended fun, then there's of course no problem. It's when one person uses it specifically to get what they want, as a manipulation tool, that I find it to be a serious issue. You should never have to earn sex, unless that's a DS thing that you've both discussed and consented to beforehand. Noted. She uses her emotions and body to get what she wants from you. Makes you feel like you need to spend more time money on her. Her. She doesn't understand the word number. Girl is using my body and he doesn't see it. She only reaches out to him when she's single. Nothing ever comes of it as she will find excuse after excuse to not actually meet up. Then when she gets a new boyfriend she ghosts him unless something goes wrong and she needs a shoulder to cry on. Guys, if she only reaches out to you when she's hurt or vulnerable, she doesn't want you, she wants sympathy and knows you'll give it to her. If she has other men in her life, in whatever capacity, but you're not allowed to even speak to another woman, even an established platonic friend, without her flipping her crap, you are nothing to her but a source of drama and validation. Run. Do not walk away. My ex would talk about the innocent flirting with a work colleague but then get pee at anyone talking to me, male or female. When she flirts with you all the time, and also everyone else, and asks you to come over to do complex electrical work and says she'll take you out to dinner, and you agree because you like the work and like being around her, but she brings her kids along and ignores you the entire time. Then when you're not around her she never texts or calls and just waves at you when you pass her at work every day, making no effort to talk to you whatsoever. And when you try to talk to her she gives you short answers like yeah, frick you Liz. Username and all. IDK if it counts, but when she takes a lot of time to text back most of the time, but as soon as you invite her to a really good place, where she won't have to pay for anything, she is suddenly faster than Flash to respond and now answers quick as long as the topics are about going to said place. I don't think that taking a long time to respond thing is a red flag in and of itself, but combined with the latter it certainly is. Some people just like to take their sweet time responding to texts, or think I'll reply later and forget. Yes, I am talking about myself here. When trying to ask you for something they start their question with the phrase hey you should, insert thing they want. For me, I used to have a neighbor who I was decently friendly with, but occasionally he would ask me for a favor like, hey, I'm gonna need you to. Small things like body language whenever you take her out could be decent indicators. If she doesn't really seem all that into you but chooses to go out with you anyways and she's getting something out of it, food, materialistic things, etc. She only talks to you when she needs something. If this thought ever pops in your head, that's already a sign. I don't think a healthy friendship should ever have this doubt popping up in the very first place. Rose-tinted glasses are a very real thing and will make you stay in a bad relationship even though the flags are very obvious. I only hope those who are reading this thread can be brave enough to leave for your own good. Some clearer signs. Lack of two-way communication. Only her issues matter, yours doesn't. Similarly, if you're the only one starting conversations but she doesn't, but still keeps you around, start running. She only looks for you when she's in trouble, needs a shoulder, having a bad time. A healthy relationship should share the good times as much as the bad times. Your worth to her is measured by the material things you can bring to the relationship. If you feel like once you stop investing money, time and you would lose her, stop whatever you are doing immediately and find a better person. I just ended a friendship with someone I later found out was using me for emotion support until she could replace her boyfriend. Signs I missed. When we first hung out she made giant gestures of friendship and told me she wanted to be my best friend and promised to always be there and support me. She would threaten to end the friendship if I didn't always pick up the phone. She would complain about all of her friends, and even the ones that left or rotated out would never be her fault. She told everyone's secrets to me, and would show me their text messages and make fun of them to me. Assumed she did the same to me. She only appeared in my life when things with her current boyfriend were going bad and we would talk for hours about how much she felt abused. Anytime something bad happened in my life, her only response was "Oh, I'm sorry, that's it." And when I told her that isn't good support, She threatened to end the friendship. She actively told me of every time she has a boyfriend she gets bored, makes them continue paying her rent, and then once she finds a new boyfriend, ends it and moves him in within the next week. She had levels of friendships, and if you weren't perfect, she would demote you. She had a rotating cast of people who were always her new best friend. She never had voicemail or texting set up and always used extra apps, and her only male friends she kept at a distance became future boyfriends. She would spill her boyfriend's secrets and devalue him as a person. Once she tried to convince me he was worthless as a person because he didn't feed the cats correctly when he was hungover. She would often go through his phone and then send me pictures of messages to other girls trying to prove he was cheating on her. Whenever I brought any misunderstanding or problem up, it was always my fault. She asked me to tell her when I felt used, and when I did, I was attacked on a personal level, and she threatened to end the friendship, telling me how dare I not see how it hurts her and that she is a good friend. I suppose my overall point is a lack of loyalty to those she loved, only being around when she was in need of support but offering excuses or bad support back, seeing they use people, giant promises right off the bat, devaluing people. A lack of support are all the signs that someone is using you, and a refusal to work on issues without threats. You never meet her friends or family and she only ever wants to go out to dinner or some other event, but never anything you want to do. If all of the problems you have in your relationship all of a sudden become your problem. Recently got out of a relationship with someone who I thought I was gonna marry someday, but then little things like me saying I just wish once in a while you'd make sacrifices in your schedule for me like I do for you, and I'd always hear I never asked you to do that for me, so that's your problem. I'd always hear I never asked you to do that for me, so that's your problem. Not gonna lie, I'd have only heard that once. Not a guy, but I'm a B woman. Unironically, think of a pickup artist and how they see women, objects of desire to be captured and kept by any means necessary. Some women do that crap too, and they use the same tactics. One, they will be fairly quick to get angry or upset with you. Small things will be made into big problems, and you'll be put down for them. 2, they will swing wildly between treating you well and treating you like crap. Their actions are there to promote a transactional relationship, i.e. gotta treat him well sometimes so he keeps coming back. 3, they will use their pain against you, making you feel like crap. Often they will make you feel bad for them or feel guilty. The goal is to make the guy sympathize with them as well as show vulnerability. For example, the guy might catch himself thinking she's going through a rough time and everything will be better soon. 4, gaslighting. They'll just lie to you, even if you have proof. It will usually start small and escalate to bigger things. They want the dude to question his reality and be more open to manipulation. 5, isolation. They'll try to isolate guys from friends, hubbies, and family if they can get away with it. If said girl is the only person they have, they'll stay even when things get really bad. Not every girl who uses people will do every one of these things, but if you stay long enough you'll see them more and more. It might also escalate to domestic assault as well. Sadly, a lot of men don't have a lot of emotional intelligences due to the bull's stereotypes forced on them. Things like, boys shouldn't cry, don't be a quitter, strive to be the bigger man, and don't talk about your emotions, can make men easier to manipulate, on top of promoting really bad mental health strategies. Just like how pickup artists will take advantage of vulnerable women, predatory women will take advantage of vulnerable or gullible men. When you're justifiably upset by something they did and they try to use sex to make you get over it or forget about it. Similarly, kissing you to physically stop you from talking about something important they don't want to listen to. She's got a long history of dating bad boys, but you are a clean-cut professional type of guy with a decent checking account balance. She's got a long history of dating bad boys. This sort of thing is a red flag for me. Claims to be Mother Teresa, but your issues are either irrelevant or they are openly stating that they don't care. Searching 3+ months for a job and quitting after 2 weeks. Rinse and repeat. On your date night showing up and asking for money so they can go drink with friends. A handshake and a congrats for your birthday. Proclaiming I bought a house on social media while it's all in your name and you pay for everything. No, I'm not bitter anymore. Why? Being too busy for you but expecting you to drop everything for her. Randomly off and on. Affectionate then distant, hot and cold, easy signs she's using you for comfort when things are off with other guys. I have a way to test this based on my experience. Flirt or hug her in front of her friends. If she's not really interested in you, she won't want her friends to think that she is, so she'll reject you. Dated a girl for a little over a year who refused to do anything I wanted to do but expected me to do everything she wanted to do. So that, like, I hate board games but put up with them because she was into them and I wanted to do things she enjoyed. But anytime I recommended we do something I enjoy, i.e. taking a walk after eating, she would just say I don't get any enjoyment out of doing that. She then proceeded to cheat on me via Craigslist. I have a friend who comes to me for advice all the time. Talk about the jobs she is getting and so on. She would also tell me just random things. She never says hi, how are you, or likes or posts comments on my posts. Then weeks or months later she tells me she is either quitting that new job or getting fired. I stopped giving her advice and she still gets fired or quits the job. When she goes to you for sympathy and attention because she doesn't get it from her boyfriend, and tells you about sex she has with him, but when you ask her to stop, she ghosts you and makes you feel like crap. Frick you, Shayna. Frick you for giving me a lot of trouble with trusting women for a long time. The last girl I fell in love with unloaded all her issues on me and I was always there to listen. However, when I needed to talk about something, she went Mia. Love and common sense don't go hand in hand. I'm so glad I'm over her. I feel awful for this and didn't realize it until after the relationship, but I totally used the crap out of my ex-boyfriend and want to share some things I now recognize I did that could serve as a warning for others. 1. I did not want to have sex with him, ever. 2. I made zero effort to look attractive when with him. 3. I never asked about his day. 4. I didn't say thank you when I should have. She manipulates you constantly, with her body and words. She is ambiguous. It seems that she appreciates you when she is with you, but when she isn't, is cold and distant. The only time she ever wants to hang out, after like the 3rd, 4th date, is to go get lunch dinner. If she never wants to spend casual time with you, X. Just getting a coffee, going for a walk in the public park, doing a social activity that takes a lot longer than just an hour-long dinner, then she is most likely just using you for free food. Don't let a woman, girl, boy, man text you sparingly and always say we should go get dinner, but never want to spend any real time together. Prior to reading this thread, I've had my suspicions about myself, but I'd easily ignore them. Now I'm almost certain that I'm the one who's using her and perhaps even pretty toxic. How does one change that sort of thing about himself? In my mid-20s now, and over the years I've noticed a lot of narcissistic traits in myself that I suspect to have picked up from my mother. Is being a good person always just going to be a facade? Nope. As long as you're realizing these things about yourself, you can always work towards fixing them. When they judge you, a partner should 99% of the time be accepting of how you are or what you like to do. For liking Legos for instance, or playing Pokemon, that kind of stuff. If they think you're weird for liking it, major red flag. It's okay for them to think you're weird, it's the lack of acceptance that is the issue. You meet on Tinder, soaks up your compliments, plays the poor me, my landlord won't fix anything, but you know how, and like to be helpful, will talk to you for years, and even throw you a bone once every few months to keep you on standby, but cancels out meetups 14/15 times. She's using you to boost her up when she needs it. That's a parasite. That's not worth the time. When she ignores all your texts until 2 weeks go by, then sends you a bunch of sweet apology texts and nudes immediately before asking for something. In my case it was drugs. Then she has to leave within 10 minutes of getting said something and goes back to ignoring you for a week or two until she needs more. Dang, I'll let that go on for way too long. Not gender specific, but if your lover is almost constantly irritated with little things about you, but says she loves you, she is lying. She loves the feeling of being loved by you. She does not love you. That is literally how you can tell. When you text her, and she either ignores the text or replies with 1 or 2 word answers, but then when she wants something, she will be super responsive and detailed in her replies. This is often combined with them always being too busy to hang out when you ask, but they will mention they are free to hang out with you on X day while asking you for something. Doesn't ask questions about you, only responds to questions about herself. Doesn't remember conversations you've had unless they were specifically relating to an issue about her. Lies that didn't need to be told. Also, easily proven lies. Talks about her own problems all the time. Doesn't allow conversations that aren't about her problems. Complains about people who drop conversations mid-text and then does it to you. Makes no effort at all, ever. Tells you she's been lying to you and has been using you. Is called Emily. Using the rental income she receives on her own flat to overpay her mortgage while she's living with you, but letting you buy food and pay bills without contributing a thing. Then keeping the engagement ring to look at after calling the wedding off. Frick you, Claire. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.